Now, one particular moment of my time back home has received its fair share of attention in the press over the past week. But I assure you, August was a busy and productive month for me and my staff back in the Commonwealth.
All right, so that's Mitch McConnell back on the Senate floor after his second health scare. This happened last week, second one in the month. He froze for about 30 seconds during a press conference back home in Kentucky. The Capitol doctor says there is no evidence of seizures, strokes, or Parkinson's disease, and he gave the senator a clean bill of health.
Yeah, joining us now for more is former Arkansas governor and former presidential candidate Mike Huckabee. Sir, thanks for joining us. So Mitch McConnell has now publicly vowed to finish his terms. That ends in January 2027. Is that the right move?
I'm not surprised. Interestingly, most of the senators in the Republican caucus have rallied around him. And part of the reason for that is he's raised a lot of money for them. So they're not going to go and say something unkind because they just got a boatload of cash in their own campaigns thanks to Mitt's fundraising. But I do think it's problematic to see a person who is in his 80s. He's had a very nasty fall this year, hit his head. I'm not a neurologist and I don't play one on television, so I'm not going to try to diagnose any medical conditions, and I'll take his doctor's word for it. But I do think what we're seeing is that there are people who are in public office who maybe ought to think about that it's time to step aside. And whether Mitch McConnell is that person, Joe Biden, we've got a number of people. But I don't think it's an age issue, and I want to make that very clear. Chuck Grassley's 89 years old. The man still runs every day. His mind is sharp. He's very effective. You see people who, have aged brilliantly, and then you see people who may be in their 70s who barely can get around.
Yeah.
But we've made age an issue in this country. Let me mention something. The federal government requires airline pilots to retire from the cockpit at age 65. I think that's ridiculous.
Air traffic controllers, by the way, at age 57, Governor. Age 57 for air traffic controllers. Yeah, and it's
ridiculous.
And by the way, it's okay. Look, I know that, fine. It's not a chronological age issue, but at some point, Dianne Feinstein's 90 years old. Maybe 90 years old is in sports. Nolan Ryan, he threw out his arm. He was forced to retire at 46. And he said, look, it was time to hang him up. That's a sports analogy. But I think for Mitch McConnell, the time might be now to hang him up. 2024 is going to be a huge election. We're talking about the presidency so much. We don't spend a lot of time talking about the House and the Senate. The Democrats are defending 23 seats in the Senate in 2024. Republicans are defending 10. This is a huge opportunity for the GOP to retake control of the Senate. Is Mitch McConnell the right guy to lead that movement?
That's the big question, and I think that some of these instances he's had where he freezes and seems to be unaware of his surroundings may give pause that he's the right guy. But, it's a decision that he has to make, his family has to make, and I hope they make it for the best of the country. And it's one of those things, it's painful to watch. And you see Dianne Feinstein, and you think, my gosh, she doesn't even know where she is. They wheel her in. They tell her how to vote. She does what they tell her. And it's just, at some point, we need a system that says, look, when you no longer can fully function, it's time to step aside.
Yes.
It's time to say, I want to go out on top. I want to go out at the top of my game rather than when I've been pulled from the mound because I can no longer get the ball across the plate.
Not to mention, and Allison, I do want to play this soundbite, but just quickly, Governor, also, and this is never said in this conversation. Look, we're not doctors. You've said that. You were one of the most popular governors in the country, though, and you ran for president. So politically speaking, you absolutely know what you're talking about. Don't forget, if you're 90, you're on the back nine. As a matter of fact, you're on the green at 18. Okay, so you're not thinking when you're legislating. You're not thinking about the future. You're no longer planning for the future. Whereas the majority of the rest of the country is still working, is still planning for the future. They're still living for the future. When you're 90, I'm just being honest, your best days are behind you. Yeah. So is that the right person to be making decisions on behalf of millions and millions of Americans?
Well, you've given a great analogy. It's like you're in an airplane and you're now in the glide scope. You've got the runway in sight. You may not have landed yet, but you're getting real close to it.
Right.
It's one of the reasons that I so strongly support term limits for everyone. executive branch, legislative branch, and yes, judicial branch. All three branches of government ought to have a term limit. You go and you serve, and then you go the heck home and you live under the laws that you pass for the rest of us. You don't get a congressional pension. You get Social Security like other American workers. But you have a limit of how long you can stay. That would be one way we could take care of this. We'll probably never have term limits unless it bubbles up from the people, because Congress will never impose it upon themselves.
Yeah, but everything you say makes sense, though. I mean, it really does, and I think that would solve a lot of problems. When I can retire, I'm going to retire.
Oh
I don't
my
want
God,
to be
Governor,
working at 90.
I can't wait. I can't wait,
Be on
Governor.
a
I'm
beach
41.
somewhere.
Retire. I can't
Counting
wait.
the days.
Yeah.
Governor Mike Huckabee, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Governor.